say what I have to say? Like, will people even listen? Right. And I know that I have felt overwhelmed when I started this journey many, many moons ago. And I want you to have all of the tools, the mindsets, and the things that you need so that you can start transforming what it is you want to bring out to the world. So today we're going to explore having some kind of transformative perspective on aligning your coaching business and your businesses and your offers and all that into what your purpose is, right? So I'm excited because I'm going to be gifting you something today that is called the two path meditation, and it's to help you gain clarity, right? So it's going to be pretty freaking awesome. I know that I did this with the women in my coaching group, and they said it was one of the most powerful sessions they had. I believe on, just being still for a moment and pausing for a second, and then actually like meditating on something good, right? Something good and not evil, something right and not wrong, like just stopping for a moment. And so the two path meditation is going to help you with that because it's going to help you really think about what path you want to take in life because human beings, all of us, none of us are exempt from this. We like immediate gratification, right? And we also learn from really a really disciplined action, right? That's why it's important when we have kids that you discipline them, that you don't just let them do whatever they want to do, right? Because we learn from that. So the two path meditation actually helps you with that because it helps you on one road. If you stay the same, what does that feel like, look like, and is like at the end of the road? And if you decide today to be the person you want to become, what does that look like and feel like by the end of the road? And that's going to be super important for you to actually gain the perspective, and it helps you shift your mind. So I want to make sure I gift you that today. So I'll do that before we end. I have it on my notes, so I hope not to forget. And if I do, make sure you let me know in the chat. Hey, Nina, where's my gift? Okay, because I will give it to you. I promise. All right. So I'm excited for that. So, what is it that people are struggling with when it comes to creating their coaching businesses or a business that aligns? And the first problem I'm seeing is women struggle to create this offer because they're challenged with what does this look like, or what's the steps here? What is this going on? So you're overthinking it. That's where I want to start. Okay. Many of you are overthinking this. You're overthinking your content. You spend so much time perfecting your material, making sure everything looks good, making sure everything is beautiful, and you're spending time overthinking your content. Okay. For instance, I had a client of mine who delayed starting. I kept saying, no, we're ready. No, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. And for months and months, she was trying to wait for that perfect moment that, never arrived. We had to just go. And then she started to see why she has to stop doing that in her business and in her life, right? Clarity comes through action. It comes when you start doing the thing. And then when you do it, you're like, oh, I didn't like the way that felt. I didn't like the way that looked. Let me shift that a little bit. Let me change. It doesn't come with over analyzing. I know that you think it does, but it doesn't, right? And so in order for you to actually get the things that you want to do and really step out, I need you to stop overthinking. Stop thinking about what the content looks like, what it'll do, how people receive it. Da, 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 da. I need you to just do it. Okay. So clarity is going to come to you as you start to put out that podcast, as you start to create that business idea, as you start to launch your wisdom. Then you're going to see what it is that resonates, doesn't resonate. It's like this event we're having right now. This is the first time I've ever done a hybrid event where you are having some videos that are being sent to you daily, and you're having all of these live events that you can come on and speak to me live, right? So there's a couple of different ways of doing this. Now I'm just testing this out. I don't know if this works or not yet. Right? It's not until the end when I actually have my numbers together and me and my team are strategizing on how many people came in, how many people watched the videos, how many people did this. That's when I'll know the hybrid maybe doesn't work yet, or maybe it's amazing and people love having the videos every day that keep them motivated without having to be tied to a Zoom to watch somebody every day. I don't know. I don't know yet. Right. So we'll find out because as we keep going, you're going to have more videos. Like tomorrow, we have another live. Okay. And tomorrow I have Bernadette Joseph's here, and she's going to talk to us about like dismantling imposter syndrome. And she's amazing at that. She's a certified in social work and all this like mental stuff, and she does boundaries and she does all of this great stuff. And tomorrow she's going to be here live to do that with you and answer questions and all that kind of stuff. So we'll be doing that together tomorrow. And tomorrow, of course, I'll have more stuff for you guys to give, because that's what I want to do throughout this entire event, is to make sure I keep giving you tools and resources until you say, no, I don't need it anymore, Nina. I'm perfect. Okay. So when you're perfect, I won't do it anymore. But for right now, I want to make sure I do that and give you what you need. Okay. So that's the number one problem I'm seeing with all of you who are trying to start something amazing and big, is you're overthinking it. And I want you to just pause for a second and say, you know what? Do I need to really overthink this? Because I am not going anywhere. I'm not moving. And the reason you're not moving is because of that. If you're overthinking, you're pausing yourself and you're stopping from doing your greatness and what you're called to do. Okay. Here's the other one that I see that's a big deal when you're starting something big and you want to like launch in the world and you don't know when to start or whatever, is you have too big of an audience. Okay, meaning, or too broad, I should say, of an audience, meaning you're attempting to serve everybody. You're attempting to make sure everybody listens and that everybody's watching and that everybody's, able to get into your coaching program. So I had a client who said to me, I do mindset work. Perfect. To who? Well, everybody needs mindset. True. That is actually true. But who are you speaking to? Because there's 1,000 billion mindset coaches, right? And so unless we stop and pause and say, I want to speak only to women, or I want to speak only to men, or I want to speak to corporate, or I want to speak to spiritual people, or I want to speak to X, if you don't narrow this down, you are not going to speak to anyone, because nobody knows what you stand for. Okay. So please remember, the broad target audience is not going to work. So attempting to serve everyone is going to dilute your message. You're not going to be able to get the word out there that you want to get. One client I had is really aimed at assisting all women, right? But we had to narrow that focus. Who do you want to speak to? And then she's like, well, I was a single mom, so I want to speak to single moms. Perfect. There we go. Right now we are narrowing this down. Right. And what are you helping her with? Well, I mean, everything. No. What are we helping her with? Managing time. Okay. So her business flourished due to like more targeting. And the more you target, the easier it gets for you to speak to that woman, right? Or to that man or to that person, whoever it is that you're trying to speak to. So make sure that you start to, it's called niching, right? I'm sure you guys have heard of it already. Niching down, narrowing it down, because the audience is out there for you. It is. Your tribe is out there. The audience is out there. There's billions of people in the world. You are not going to reach everyone, and you don't want to. Why would you want to reach somebody that you don't have anything in common with or don't really serve or help? Like, if that's not your people, why would you want them in your ecosystem? You don't, right? So let's get narrow, really narrow about what it is we want to do. Okay. So making sure you got a target audience is the other mistake that I'm seeing of us not being able to move forward in our purpose, in the things that we're supposed to be creating. All right. You are qualified. You are qualified. The other thing is just having things in place. Okay. Don't undervalue your expertise. Don't do that. Okay. When you undervalue your expertise, you don't think you have something that people want, then you hesitate to position yourself and you hesitate to really show people that you do know this and that you're the expert in this field. And then what happens is you then undercharge you for your services because you don't think it's worth it. You don't think you're worth it or that you're worthy enough. And I'm going to tell you the truth. If you don't think you're worthy or worth it, neither does anyone else. Because if you don't even think that of yourself, someone else isn't going to think that either. Okay. So you have to show up for you. You have to do that. And undervaluing your expertise is a huge one, especially as women. We tend to do this more than men. For example, I was out just having a negotiation with someone, And I said, well, this is what I need in order to make this work. And they're like, okay, well, okay, I think we can do that. I'm like, okay, now I did go high so that we can come to a middle, right? But most women will take the lower end, right? So if somebody says to you, I'm going to hire you, I'm going to pay you $15 an hour, and you know you need 25, right? You might just say, okay, I'll take it, 15. Men will say 35 so that they can then get the 25. They're not afraid to do that. Women, on the other hand, well, they have a business and they have to blah, blah, blah. And da, da, da. This is what we do. We overanalyze, we reason too much, we expand too much, and that's what happens. So I just want to make sure that I want you to understand that the value that you're bringing to the world is something that is your value. And when you respect your value and respect who you are and respect what you bring to the table, then others will also, they'll have no choice but to fall in line. And you have to understand that you have to start that, though. It has to come from you. So no more undervaluing yourself. Okay. I had a client that came in and was charging like $300 and for her coaching. And I couldn't believe the amazing amount of value that she was giving her clients. And I'm like, wait a second. I was scratching my head like, wait. You're charging how much? Well, my last coach told me that I should start here on a low end because blah blah. I said, okay. So then we started to explore. What does that mean? How are the clients that you're getting? Well, they're not really, doing the work. They don't really show up when I tell them to. Exactly. Exactly. Right? Because if you're giving all of this value, and she was giving a shit ton of value, you're giving all of this value and you're pricing it so low. I think it was like $300, like for like 6 weeks or 8 week program or whatever it was. It was just so low. And the reason I say it was so low is because of the value she was giving these people, which was transformation in their health. Right? So what does that cost? What does that mean to them? And so I pushed her and we put up the program to 2,500. Guess what? She got her clients. She got her ideal clients. She got the people that were willing to pay the money to get the transformation she was already giving. Right? This is what I mean. Like, so if you're somebody who's starting a business or thinking about starting a business or how you can really impact somebody, if you're into like podcasting and stuff, that's a little bit different, but it still resonates in that you still have to show up as the expert. Okay. And you have to leverage that in order to make your podcast be monetary, to bring money in. Because when you start to go out and show people, especially like maybe different products, things like that, like for instance, where is it? Oh, here. Like for instance, this right here, right? My Magic Mind. Magic Mind, right? It's like something that I use every day. And I love this stuff. So they sent me a letter saying, hey, Neen, would you mind if we had a link for your people so that they can get 45% off bundles and blah, blah, blah. I was like, not at all. So then they sent me a case and then they were like, hey, we love you so much and blah, blah, blah. This is what I'm saying. You can leverage your skill set even in like, say, podcasting. Okay. It's just about showing up in truth and authenticity of who you are, not being afraid of that, and then being able to show everyone your expertise in that field. That's important. All right. So stop undervaluing yourself because God did not undervalue you. In fact, he loved you so much that he gave his only son for you. Okay. That's how much value you have. And so don't undervalue that because God is important. God is number one, and he's the one that sets the standard. And if his standard is that you are worth everything to him, right? Then that is your value. And stop letting the world tell you what your value is or isn't. Okay? Because the world is full of crap, right? That's why God tells us not to be conformed to this world, but be renewed in our minds, right? Because the world is crap. And the truth of the matter is as beautiful as it is to have life, because I love life and I love the colors of life and all of the good, the bad, the ugly. I love all of it because I know that I'm living an experience that it's going to be gone soon. Because let's be real, our lives is nothing but a vapor. It's like 80 years, boom, like that, gone, right? If we live 80 years. right? So we have to value where we are today and value what we bring to the table and have everybody else value it too. And that means showing up for real, not BSing. And if you outgrow people, then you just outgrow people. That's okay. Love on them and just keep it moving. Okay. Because one of the other things that I see women do is they stop their own growth, their own value, their own worth, their own everything because maybe their family doesn't like the new growth, the new boundaries, the new levels. Maybe the friends that they love so much are leaving them because they're at a different trajectory than you, right? And the truth is you are going to grow. You are. Now, you don't have to. You can stay where you are today and next year be in the same place and the following year be in the same place and the following year be in the same place. I did that for a long time in my life, right? I didn't realize I was just a victim and just being in the same place all the time until I looked at my journals and realized when I was reading through my journals, this was like in 2014 or something, 15, I was looking through my journals and realized, oh my God, I'm repeating my life. Like literally what I was reading was exactly what I was going through at that moment again in a new year. And that flipped a switch in me and I'm like, "Oh my goodness. I cannot live the next 10, 15 years doing the same thing. Like, this is ridiculous. I was still struggling with the same level of things. Like, are you kidding me right now?" Right. And so when I realized that every year now I set goals for myself, big goals, and I break those goals down and I attack them because I want last year to not look at all like this year. I want this year to look completely different. Right. And even if last year was amazing, then this year I want it to be even more amazing, right? So I want you to look at that in life. Look at the patterns you have in life. How are you structuring your time, your year? How are you actually doing that? Are you even looking at your time? Do you even know how to structure your time so that you're not wasting time? Because that's the other thing we do is we waste a lot of time. And you don't even realize it until you look up like you're scrolling on your phone 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour later, you're like, oh my God, it's 4 o'clock already, or whatever that is, right? And so I want you to be careful with wasting so much valuable time because you can't get that back no matter how much. Now, for all of you who are in here who are parents, you know what I'm talking about. Like you ended up looking and your kids are grown. How did that happen? You know, you're like, what, how did you even get grown already? Who gave you permission to do that? Right. But the problem is that as they're growing, your time is going too. So we don't pause to think about that. Like sometimes we'll see kids and be like, oh my gosh, you're 18 already? How did you become 18? But you don't realize that how did you also become like whatever, the years have been since that person you saw last or the children that you see grow up. I was celebrating my kids' birthdays yesterday. They're 37 and 31. And I'm looking at them singing happy birthday and thinking, how am I a mother of 30-year-olds? That's insane. But that means 37 years have gone by just like that, right? Think of your age right now. You're probably thinking, how did I get to this age just like that? Right? And that's what life is. And that's why I want you to really pause and realize that you don't need to be afraid anymore, that you can't afford to be afraid anymore to do what it is you want to do. Now, fear will come, but you got to do it afraid anyway, because you cannot afford another moment of not doing what you want to do. It's just, it's just going to go by so quickly. And next year, if you're still in the same place, still thinking about it, that's dangerous because you're wasting time, right? And then it'll be 2 years and 3 years and you're still thinking about it. And I don't want that for you. I don't want that for me. And so I have to make sure that I have structure in my life, that I have things in my life so that I have a clear roadmap of where I want to go, right? So here's the other one, lack of structure, right? Without a clear roadmap, you're going to remain in this perpetual learning mode, the perpetual, mode of like trying a new thing. This happens to all of us, okay? But if you stay in the perpetual learning mode instead of taking actionable steps, it's really dangerous, right? So I want you to be honest. Have you ever faced any of these challenges, right? Where you are actually learning and you keep learning and then you keep learning, but you're not doing anything with it. Like I know for me, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you here who are watching are probably saying to yourselves, I don't do that. Really? I bet you if I open up your computer, I find courses, materials, PDFs, all kinds of stuff that you downloaded and thought it was a great idea, and you didn't do anything with it, right? Because they say knowledge is power, but that's BS, because knowledge is power if applied, right? It's only power if you take it and apply it in your life. It's one thing for me to say to you, I'm a Christian. It's another thing to actually read the word and apply the word in my life. Those are two different things, right? It's the same thing when it comes to your business or your idea or the things you want to do in life. If you do not put actions and steps in place for you to be able to move forward, you're just going to be a big encyclopedia that sits on a shelf, right? And I'm old enough to remember the Britannica series where the book people would come by your house and they would sell you like the Britannica books and you would be there with an encyclopedia. It was actually kind of cool. But here's the thing. If I didn't read the book, it meant nothing. The knowledge is in the book, but if I'm not reading it to actually apply it, so what? Right? So I'm going to say to you guys that I really, really want you to think of the structure, and do you have any structure? Have you put anything together? Right? And have you actually said, okay, this is point A, this is point B, this is C, this is where I'm going to go with this. Okay? If you haven't done that, you need to do that. Right? You need to do that. Okay. So I wanted to talk to you about the shift, right? The mindset that you need to start building this coaching offer that sells, right? And so here's the truth. The most impactful coaches aren't necessarily the ones with the most knowledge, right? They're just the ones who really know how to define the people they want to talk to. So they define their audience. They have a clear understanding on the who they want to serve. And then they leverage their personal experiences. They utilize their own stories, the wisdom. They start to say, okay, this changed my life from here to here, so I'm going to help somebody else change their life from here to there. Right? So they're leveraging what they know and what their personal experiences are. That doesn't mean they're the best coaches in the world. They just know what they're doing. Right? So the most impactful coaches are going to really think about, I'm speaking to women over 40 who have metabolic issues, and I'm going to help them lose weight. Boom, clear. Women over 40 who are having metabolic issues who need to lose weight. Got it. How fast can you do it? I can help them lose weight in the first 10 days. Beautiful. Now, when you put that out there, there's a woman who's 40 who's having some issues with losing weight who says, wait a minute, you can help me lose weight in 10 days? Yes. Where do I sign? Right? Because now she knows she's the perfect person for the perfect program that is going to help her. Right? Why do you think that so many people who advertise out there know exactly how to speak to where you are? Right? Because they're like, oh, I know who I want to talk to. I want to talk to men who are in a career that are bored with their career and want to level up to management position. Great. So now you're going to find a man out there who's going to want to level to a management position in tech industry. Now you really narrowed it down. Now it's tech. Right? So here's the thing. You have to be clear like that in order for you to leverage your skill sets. Okay. So you need to start building a coaching offer that sells by knowing who your audience is. Who are you speaking to? I don't care if you're in podcasting. I don't care if you're selling a widget. I don't care if you're doing a coaching program. It doesn't matter. Who are you serving? Okay. And then you're going to leverage that personal experience that you have, the wisdom and skills and tools, the things that you have done to overcome. You're going to use that to facilitate transformation in their lives. All right. Because if you don't do that, what's the point? I can just go to YouTube then, right? And that's the point, is you're leveraging who you are, because people have to really resonate with who you are. And tomorrow, when you come on the live tomorrow, we're going to talk about um, uh, a vulnerability and what does that mean in this workspace, because we're going to have Bernadette here talking to you guys about dismantling imposter syndrome and all that. So tomorrow's going to be packed, and we're going to have a lot of things for you tomorrow for you to keep moving forward in this journey that you're on. Okay? And so I want you to confidently acknowledge and assert their value, your value into what it is you're offering people. That's what builds the coaches. That's what builds these people to have amazing coaching offers that sell, is that they actually will tell you and they confidently tell you what their value is. Right. And reflecting on my own journey, I once believed I needed another certification, another degree, another something before I could start coaching. And that's BS. All right. It was the turning point when I realized that my personal story is actually what resonated with people. That I had so much existing wisdom already that was sufficient enough to make a difference in many people's lives. And I didn't even need another certification to do it. Now I have several certifications because I thought I needed them. And nobody has ever asked me once in my coaching program or anywhere, what am I certified in? Right? I just needed the confidence in what I already have in me. And that's what I want you to understand. You already have something in you, all of you, right? So keep this in mind. Remember that someone out there is praying for the wisdom that you already have. All right. You already have this expertise. You already have this wisdom, this knowledge, this thing that you triumphantly got over. You already have that wisdom and somebody needs it. And you don't need to have 50,000 steps ahead of anybody either. You can be just one step ahead of someone else and they need that wisdom in order for them to get the one step ahead. Okay. So stop overthinking this. You don't need to overthink it. It doesn't help you. All right. Now, the other thing is a framework. People need to have a framework. You know, I don't care if it's 5 steps to creating a profitable coaching offer, whatever that is. Here's a roadmap to creating a coaching business or a business that sells and feels aligned. Okay, here we go. 1, identify the problem that you're solving. What is it that they need? Okay, clients are not seeking about, I have 22 videos and 22, workbooks and blah, blah, blah. They don't care. Is it going to help them? That's all they care about, right? Because people are seeking transformation. They don't want to stay the same. Okay, they're not just looking for coaching. They're really looking for, I need to get out of this debt, or I need to get out of this anxiety, or I need to get out of this burnout, or I need to get out, right? So that's what they're looking for. They're not thinking, oh, I just need a great coach right now to, just to hang out with. That's not what they're looking for. What is the pain that your ideal person is experiencing right now? What are they struggling with right now? Not a week from now, not tomorrow, not next year. Right now, what is she feeling? Like for me, the women that follow me are feeling this stuckness and they just want to get to the next portion of where they want to go. They don't know where to start yet. They're really trying to grow this business and they're like, I just don't exactly know my next move, right? Those are my women. They're struggling with frustration and not knowing and the doubting, and they're overwhelmed with all of the information and they just need structure. That's what my people are struggling with. What are your people struggling with? Is it spiritual? Is it something where they don't feel connected to God? Is it, physical? Is it something where they need to be healthier? Is it, metabolic? There's so many different things that you can come up with when it comes to coaching, right? But what I don't want you to talk about is I'm a coach because I'm blah, blah, blah. No, I need you to talk about what they are feeling right now. Okay. A career woman experiencing burnout, for example, and I deal with a lot of women who are like overwhelmed and experiencing a lot of burnout and just like, "Ugh, I'm overwhelmed, Neen." Okay. I don't need to be giving her generic mindset coaching. Okay. Oh, well, if you breathe in and you say, I'm the best, you're going to be, that's not what she needs. She actually needs structure. She needs a structured system so that she can reclaim her energy, so that she can have that stuff come back, right? This is why I built the whole transformational part of my business, which is my co-creation, where you, me, and my team create the structure to your coaching business so that you don't have to be so burnt out. We build the funnel system, the marketing, the automation, all of that so that you can just woosah. Okay. So you have to really know who you're speaking to. Because if you're just saying, "Oh, I'm going to just give her mindset stuff," nope. She can go get a motivational video right now on YouTube. What makes you different? That's what I want you to think about. So identify the problem that you are solving. Okay? Okay, that's one. Two, you're going to highlight your uniqueness. So your unique experiences are your strength, ladies. Okay? They are your strengths. I remember when I had a client many moons ago who really underestimated. She's like, I just don't know, you know, what I should be helping them with, until we recognize, like, as we started to talk about who she is, what she does, what her foundations are, what she's battled with, all that kind of stuff. And she had over a decade long with emotional eating. Like, her emotional eating took over her life for like a decade. And that became her coaching superpower, because she realized, oh my God, wait a minute. I overcame this. I can help women who are battling with emotional eating. Exactly. And it got even bigger than that, because when she started to talk about that, she started to talk about the traumas in her life, right? What caused her to even develop this? And those are the women that she was speaking to. Who are the women or the men you are speaking to? You need to highlight your uniqueness. What have you gone through? What are you going through? Right? You need to really understand that, because that experience that you have, those experiences that you bring to the table, those are your strengths. Those are your superpowers. Those are the things that God has allowed you to go through so that you can help someone else. These things are not just for you to get over and be like, look at me, I got over it. Right? It's always for your fellow man or woman. It always is. It's to help someone else. Right? So highlight what that is for you. What are your unique strengths? What is it that you've been through, that you've been battling, that you have learned techniques for, that you are really good at helping and you've gotten yourself through it? How do you get through that? What is it? Those are your uniques. That's your thing right there. How did you get through all of that depression? How did you get through all of that emotional eating? How did you get through corporate burnout? How did you get through that? And when you start to realize how you got through that, that is when you'll start to realize how you can help someone else. Okay? All right. Number 3 is specify client outcomes. Okay? When you are doing your offers, or you're putting out your podcast, or you're putting out your program, or you're putting out your deals, whatever it is, don't be ambiguous. Okay? Don't just put offers out there and think that's going to attract clients. It is absolutely not going to. You need to be clear. You need to be result oriented. Okay. You need to know who you're speaking to, because if your offers are ambiguous and you're just like, I help mindset for everyone. The first question I asked her is, how many clients do you have? And the answer was 0. Okay. Because instead of saying something like, I help women with XYZ, she was saying, I help you with mindset. Nope, that doesn't work. It just doesn't work, especially in a world where everything is on social media and is super noisy. Okay? So instead of being vague, like, I help women build confidence. So, I remember when I first started, I had a coach and she said, well, Nina, it looks like you empower people and help them with confidence, and, help them with like the stuff that they've dealt with in life. You should say that I help people with confidence and mindset. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that sounds good. It did not sound good. It was crap. Okay. I was so bad. Nobody came. Nobody came. Okay. And it wasn't until I actually had to, like, that was just bad advice. Okay. It was bad advice, but that's okay. You sometimes pay a lot of money and you get bad advice. It happens, right? But I started knowing how to frame things. And so it went from, I help women build confidence. This was like in 2000. Oh my God. Oh, 2018 or what? I don't even remember. It went from I help corporate women develop unshakable confidence and advocate for themselves to get the raises they deserve. Right. So now women were like, oh, how do we do that? Well, there was structure for that, right? Because I was a business strategist. I help people with business and development and all that kind of stuff, because that's what I did for my career. I was director, so I helped people develop like their resumes and what they did and how to leverage themselves and all that kind of stuff. So all of that stuff. And as a chef, learning how to put things together, create menus. What do I need? How do I look at it? Looking vision wise, like what do I want the dish to look like, the event to look like? All of those things are not wasted. Okay. That means don't look at your career and say, well, but I only did customer service. It was like crap. No, no, no. You learned how to talk, you learned how to communicate, you learned how to sell them on piece or the product that you were trying to help them with. Like there are skills that are hidden underneath whatever title you used to have. Okay? So don't think that they're not applicable. They are applicable. And that's what I want you to take away from this, that all of the skills that you have, all of the stuff that you've been through, all of the things that you have worked on or overcome in your life, they're all applicable skills to help someone else. Do not like look at it as something small or something that you know is not going to help anyone. That is not true. Okay. So start reframing. I want you to look at, like, write down the sentence and look at it. Okay. I help X with X without X, right? So I help women build confidence is not good enough. Write it down anyway and say, well, how do I reword this? If I was a woman that was looking for somebody, what would I be looking for? Well, I help corporate women. Okay. We're getting more specific. It's corporate women now, not just women in general. All right. Develop unshakable confidence. Okay. So I'm telling them that I'm going to have them confidence so that they can advocate for their raises they deserve. Ah, corporate women are in business. They're in corporate and they want to get paid more money. So now I'm helping them get the money that they deserve. Okay. So that's what I mean. Be very, very clear and specific about what it is you want to give them. Okay. Now, I'll have a little gift for you from, I have some client ebooks and guides and lead magnets and stuff like that that I've used in my coaching practice. And I want to give that to you guys. So I'm going to pop the, hopefully I can grab this link and I'm going to pop it in the chat here. If you're on, I see that there's people watching on Facebook and stuff. I don't know if I could do it there. I wish you would have gotten on the Zoom because I can do it here to all the women here on Zoom. Hold on. Let me pop this in here. Yeah, there it is. It's a Canva link. I'll try to do it right here. I don't know if I can do it, but I'll try. Let me see if I can do it. Hold on. Hold on. Here we go. Okay. There you go. Hopefully you guys can hear can see that. All right. Okay. All right. So if you guys can click on the link and just let me know if it opened for you and give me a thumbs up because I can see all of you guys on camera. Okay, great. Thank you. All right. So um that's a Canva link that will give you access to like workbooks and worksheets and, you know, like stuff like that. And I'll have more of that throughout the week as we start to spend some time together. But I wanted to give you something to look at. All right. Something that you can like, oh, this is a great template work, or you can make it your own colors, whatever. Right. So just open it up on Canva and play around with it. It's just something I wanted to give you. Okay. So don't think about any more about how you just generalize it. I want you to write the sentence down that you think is unique or that you think that you want to do. Don't overthink it. Just write it down. And then you're going to start kind of like being more specific. It doesn't have to be like 20 sentences. I want you to be able to explain it in less than 5 seconds. Okay? So just look at it and say, what is it here that I want to do? What is it that I want to do? Who do I want to reach? Why do I want to reach them? What is it that I'm trying to eliminate from their life? Stress, anxiety, depression, you know, weight, whatever that is. And you're going to write that down and become more specific. Okay. So I want to make sure that you have that. Now, I want you to define how you're going to deliver your messaging. When you are starting a coaching business, it's always like, what do I do? Some people tell me go one-on-one. Some people tell me do a group. Some people tell me do a program. Some people tell me do a course. I don't know what the freak to do. I get it. I get it. Oh man, I get it. Okay. I will tell you though that if it's somebody who is just starting, I will say that I would really love it if you started with one-on-one. This is just my suggestion. Please don't just take my word for it. Do what you think is best for you. But one-on-one usually works well because you can actually uh hone your craft. You can just speak to that person and really start honing. Okay, tell me what you took away from this session. How did you like this session? What do you want to work on next? All that kind of stuff. And you can really start to develop a roadmap for later to do group or, what is that called? Membership, stuff like that, right? So start for me. Again, this is just my advice. One-on-one usually helps you hone your craft, and you can just do that for a couple of months. You don't have to do that forever, but I think it would be very helpful, right? And so a lot of the women who come into my program, I usually tell them, listen, you're going to launch a 6-week trial program. And the reason for that is for the feedback. You need a feedback loop. You need people feedback and giving you a bunch of stuff back. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Justin and Wilfredo. I see you all here. Thank you so much. Yeah. You need a feedback group, okay? You need something that's going to give you back the knowledge that you're putting out there. So, highly, highly, highly recommend for anybody who joins my programs. I'm always that, like, when we're ready to start like launching and doing their coaching business out there, that's what I always say to them. Listen, let's start working on one-on-ones. Let's start putting your program out there. You don't have to have it all written out at all. In fact, I suggest you don't, because your people, the people that you're working with and in your audience, will give you what it is they really need. And that's how you start to come up with your coaching program. One of the biggest mistakes I was told when I first started coaching is to have everything out already, like do my whole course already. And I spent months and months and months and months writing out these courses just to find out that people really didn't need that. They needed my other skill sets, right? And so I had all of these courses, like we say in Spanish, para, which means for nothing, right? So I don't want you to fall into that hole. I want you to think of it strategically. So now you're going to put something out there, and most businesses do this. They'll do a test trial. I'm sure you guys have heard of focus groups and test trials and short, like short stints of a product or something, because they want to see, how does the market feel about this new widget? Right? Or how does this market feel about this program? Or how does the market feel about this exercise thing or this diet or whatever? And the reason they do that is because they need to get that feedback in order to improve. You need feedback in order to improve. It doesn't matter if you're starting your coaching business, your podcast, your whatever. Get the feedback as much as you can. You can start with the people who are closest to you and then start to broaden out to the people who are out in the ecosystem out here in the world, right? But be strategic. So consider how you want to start this: one-on-one, group coaching, a course, a program. I don't know. But what I do want you to consider is, what is the more strategic way to do this so that I can grow slowly and surely instead of in a stint and then don't know how to handle it, right? So think about how long you think it takes somebody to have the transformation. Maybe it's 4 weeks. Maybe in 4 weeks you can help them break the confidence and actually go ahead and get that raise. Okay, 4-week program, good. Maybe it's 90 days, maybe it's 6 months, maybe it's a year. I don't know, but you need to think about what is the duration that you want to have these people into your course, your program, your whatever, right? And then I want you to think about how you're going to do that. What's the process? How am I going to do this? Would I be doing this lives every other week? Will I be doing it every week? Would I be giving them workbooks? Will I be giving them video lessons, phone calls? What am I going to do? How am I doing this? How am I actually going to deliver the goods on my program? Okay. So think about this. This is super important to consider how you want to do it, right? So is it one-on-one, group, program, whatever, how long you want to do it? 4 weeks, 9 weeks, 12 weeks, 15 weeks. There's no right or wrong answer here. Okay. I don't want you to think, oh, I have to do it by this date. That's not true. My program, I could do it in 90 days. We do a framework in 90 days. But when I offer my program, it's a year or 6 months. Why? Because I know that we're going to run into a lot of obstacles and I want to be there to support them. Okay. So that's why my program is a little longer. It doesn't have to be. If somebody says to me, Nina, all I need is your whole tier for marketing and automation. Great. 90 days. Boom. Got you out there. My team got you. We were good. Done. But most people come to me because they also want the mindset work. They want to go deep. They want to make sure they get rid of all the crap and that they have someone there to strategize with them and to be there with them when a post doesn't go well, or when, you know, a one-on-one call doesn't go well, or a sales strategy doesn't go well. So people hire me for my strategic thinking, okay? And the fact that I help them build out their business. So you have to think about what that means for you, okay? Okay. Number 5, assert your value and price accordingly. So your pricing should reflect the transformation that you provide, right? It's like I told you about the client that was charging $300 for like this life-changing coaching that she was doing, really, really taking people out of trauma and doing like this amazing stuff that she was doing. So I was like, you cannot charge $300 for like this amazing stuff. What are you doing? Because she was struggling financially, but she was also struggling with getting the right clients. They weren't doing the work. And then after we repositioned her offer, we looked at it. We said, this is what you're doing. Now, what is this worth to people? She started at 2,500. Okay. Then she got the real people that wanted to do the work and wanted to get in there. And actually, so 2,500 to 300 changed the game for her. Okay. So you have to think about, what is your ideal client? What are they really serious about? All right. So I gave you 5 steps. I know that I've given you a lot of information today. Okay. But I'm excited for you, and I'm excited for what you're going to be putting out in the world and what you're doing. And I want to make sure that you do it well. So the framework, just to reiterate, is 1, to identify the problem that you're solving. 2, highlight your uniqueness. What is it that you are unique in and your strengths? Okay. 3, specify their outcome. How are you helping them, right? So writing that sentence down and then reframing that into a very powerful sentence. Then defining your delivery method, right? So is it one-on-one? Is it group? Whatever, how long it is, what's the process, all of that kind of stuff. And then 5 is assert your value and price accordingly, okay? You should not be charging very little money if that's not what you are doing. If you are doing something that's going to be bringing value to people, you have to charge accordingly. And here's the thing, I want to throw this at you, okay? Because a lot of you will say, "But Nina, I don't think my person will pay that." That's you thinking. That's your limiting belief. That is you not trusting yourself to deliver what it is you said. Okay. I want you to remember that, because listen, when I speak to a woman, I don't care what color she is, what size she is, what age she is, right? I deal with women usually 30 and up. I do not care if you're Latina, if you're Black, if you're white, Asian. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I will not judge whether or not you can or cannot afford my program, or that you can or cannot do the work. I will not judge that, because I don't know you like that. Okay. And I've had people that go, "I can't afford it." I'm like, no problem. This is what it is. When you can afford it, we'll talk again. No worries. Here's the strategy that you're going to start with. And you know what they do? The next day, they're like, okay, ready to sign. Because a lot of people are just doubting themselves. It's not that they can't afford it or can't do it. They just are scared. I was scared. When I invested $25,000 in my coach, I was terrified. Terrified. How am I going to pay $25,000? Oh my God. Guess what? I figured that out. I figured it out. I needed a coach in my life. I figured it out. Here's the thing. I don't want you to take yourself off the table. Okay. But I also don't want you to take others off the table. That is not fair. Okay. So when I have a woman in front of me, I am not thinking, "Oh, she probably can't even afford it. She can't afford my program. I know she ain't gonna be able to do." Are you kidding me? No, I would never do that. And if you do that, you better stop yourself before you wreck yourself. Okay. Because it is not fair. So here, flip it for a second. You're about to go on a phone call with someone, and they're in their mind thinking, "Yeah, she can't afford nothing. I don't know why we're on this call together." How does that make you feel? That makes me feel crappy. Okay. And I had to actually do that with one of my clients because she's like, well, I mean, like my clients can't afford it. I said, can I flip that for a second? She's like, yeah. I said, well, I'm on this call with you. I don't think you could afford it. She's like, she got offended. I said, exactly. Exactly. And I want you to remember that every time that somebody comes in front of you and you dismiss them before they even speak. It is unfair. Don't do that. Okay. So if that resonated with you and that's something you understand, I want you to carry that with you. Stop judging people. Okay. Let's stop doing that immediately. Do not talk for somebody else. Okay. Don't assume what they can and cannot do. Don't be that person. Okay. I want you to understand that, you know, if other people want to make those ugly assumptions, let them do it, but you won't be that person. All right. So once my client understood that, she stopped charging the measly little $300 that was doing nothing for her or the clients because they didn't take it seriously enough. And after she positioned herself as 2,500, they immediately took her seriously, right? Because when people pay, they pay attention. That is just the facts. All right. Now, for some of you who can be on free things and pay attention, bravo to you. That's discipline. Okay. And I want you to actually say, shit, I'm disciplined. I didn't even know I was disciplined. Right. Because if you can be on something for free, I see all of you watching and thank you guys so much. Right. I am pouring my heart out to you right now. This is like all of my gifts are coming out here and I'm giving you everything I can for this session because you're worth it to me. Right. And none of you paid a dime, but you're paying attention. And if you're paying attention, that's enough. Right. So I want to make sure that you guys understand there are two paths you can take here. You can take a path where you are going to just stay the same, or you can take a path where you are going to change and transform and think of things differently, starting ahora, like we say in Spanish, today. Okay. So I want to give you a guided visualization meditation. Some of you may already have it because I see some of you who've been following me for a while. I just love you guys. And then I see some of you who are new. So there's a guided visualization that I do that is a two-path visualization. And you should be listening to it at least 2 days, two times a week to just help you stay focused because our brain will revert back to old habits and patterns. Okay. And I want you to really imagine yourself 1 year from now if you stay the same, and then 1 year from now if you start making decisions that are going to transform your life. Okay. So I'm going to drop this link. Hopefully I'll find it. 1 second. 1 second. If I don't find it, I'll make sure to put it in the notes after. 1 second. Let's see here. Oh, here it is. Here it is. I got it. I got it. I got it. Let me just copy this. Copy link. Okay. I'm going to put it right here in the chat. And I'll put it here in the Facebook Live as well, for those of you who would like it. Okay. Now, that is a two-path meditation. And that is just to help you kind of pause for a second, sit down on a 45-degree angle. It's really nice if you can sit on a chair, get your feet grounded on the floor if you can, and really sink into what I'm asking you to do in these two paths. One is going to take you through a journey of if you never change, what this will look like. And I'm telling you, it is what it'll look like if you don't change. And the other one is what if you start changing today? What does it look like a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now? Because our brains need to understand that there are consequences to our choices and our actions. It's like we all want immediate gratification, right? If I want to lose weight, but there's a piece of cake in front of me, I'm going to eat the cake because right now I need the cake. But the truth is if I already train my brain to think about, well, if you don't do that today, a year from now, you're going to be losing some weight. That's going to feel good, right? So if I give my brain that satisfaction, that dopamine hit right now, it will then make those decisions every time I'm going to eat something. And I know because that's what I do right now, right? So I want to make sure that I give you those dopamine hits right now and your consequences right now. because your brain needs to know there's a consequence to that action, and your brain needs to get that real great dopamine hit of what it feels like if you start to make good decisions. So that's a powerful meditation. I love it. I do it, like I said, 2 to 3 times a week just to keep my behind focused on the things I want to do. Otherwise, I go back to old habits and I'm not going to go there. Okay. So remember, I said to you earlier, I need you to start managing your time. Okay. Manage your minutes is what I call it in my program. Manage your freaking minutes and stop wasting time. Okay. So I have another gift for you. All right. Because I want you to start mastering your minutes by time boxing. Okay. And as you start aligning your coaching business, aligning your thought process, aligning the business that you want to have, I want you to start managing the time effectively to start maximizing your impact. Okay. And one powerful technique that I use to be very, very effective. In fact, I got these from millionaires. So it must work because this is what they do, right? It's time boxing. And time boxing is a time management method where you allocate specific periods of time to work on tasks with doing all that, like really focus. Instead of working until the task is complete, you work until the set time runs out. You're really strategic. You start to break things out into manageable parts. You start to brain dump. This is what I do. I brain dump the night before. I write all of the things that I'm either imagining or wanting to do or blah, blah, blah. Then I take the top 3 of my priority, or top 5, 3 to 5. I put it in my little box on top. These are my priorities. I write my schedule. I hand write my schedule. Here's why I do it. It keeps me focused. Okay. So you're dedicating this set time, and you're really going to manage how you are going to prioritize your stuff. Now, everything can't be a priority. You might have a couple of priorities and then some things that have to get done but could wait a bit. You're going to do the things that are priority first and stop getting sidetracked with all of the BS that is taking away from the time that you're supposed to be doing good things. Because remember, when your brain is scared, it's going to stop you from doing the things you want to do because it doesn't know how to do it. So it's scared. I'm going to give you this resource right now. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to give you this resource. It's my workbook for time boxing. It's also a Canva link, so you can make as many pages of this as you want. Here it is. In the chat and over here on Facebook, because I know there's a lot of you watching over here as well. There you go. Okay. That's my time boxing sheet. Did that go through, by the way? Yes. Okay. Great. All right. Perfect. Thank you. So just make sure that you read it and you look through it, because time boxing is a time management strategy where you're going to allocate this time. You're going to put your priorities together. You're going to brain dump. You're going to do all of those type of things, because I want you to really enhance your focus. I want you to dedicate time for the things you got to get done. Okay. I don't want you to get sidetracked. I don't want you to go into other things. I want you to stay where you are. Okay. I want you to increase your productivity. It is time to change the game, y'all. It's 2025. If you've been wasting a lot of time or you're not where you want to be, it's because you're wasting time and not doing the things you're supposed to do to be productive. I know that's a little bit forward, maybe a little harsh, but it's the truth. And I want you to freaking grow and kill it this year. Okay. So I want you to increase your productivity. I want you to stop procrastinating and know that you have a really a gift that you should be bringing to the world, and you have to be strategic about how you're going to do this. Okay. So remember, identify your task, allocate your time, set your timer. You're going to really, I want you to really take this workbook and put it to your advantage. Okay. I think about Ephesians. I think it's Ephesians 5. It's 15 and 16. Look carefully and look carefully. Wait, how does it go? Look carefully then how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise, making the best use of your time because the days are evil. Okay. So by managing our time wisely, we can fulfill our purpose that God has placed us here and serve others effectively and stop wasting time. Okay. Okay. Um, if you're ready to take control of your time and take control of your productivity and take control of all of that, I really am going to encourage you about the time boxing. Okay. What is this here? Uh, Doing a free training on Wednesday. Please vote for the topic that may help you grow. Okay. So I want to make sure that you are really thinking of who you are, what you bring to the world, what you can bring out. And I hope that this has helped you today. Now I see that many of you are like talking in the Facebook as well. So I apologize. I'm like looking back and forth, but I want to make sure that you guys are really set up for success. That's my goal. My goal this year, I think I've shared this with a lot of you, is impact. Okay. And it's to impact your life and to give you as much value as possible. Now, don't forget that tomorrow morning we are here again. For those of you who have the Zoom link, please join us on Zoom. It's just better there if I could just put all of the info in there instead of trying to look at both places. Okay, so if you haven't registered for the Women Who Lead event, you need to do that because that's going to help you to be on the Zoom calls and to get all of the amazing impact that we've been having every single day with all of the speakers because it has been phenomenal and I'm getting a lot of great feedback. So I'm going to put it here in the Facebook because the people already on Zoom don't need it. Okay, register today so that you can be on the lives. Tomorrow, we're going to meet again. We're going to have a live. It's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be dismantling all of your limiting beliefs. And I have some other gifts and stuff that I want to give you. Okay. Yeah, we have one, two, three. Oh my gosh, we have a lot of things to give you tomorrow. So we'll give you a bunch of stuff tomorrow. I can't go through all of that today. It's been too much. But today you got already the things that you needed. So you have your time boxing, you have your templates. All right. So for you to get started, I gave you the 5 tools that you need to start getting your business going and elevate and start moving your freaking behind forward. Okay. I gave you your 2-path meditation. I gave you all of those things. And the last time we were together, I gave you your free Wisdom to Wealth ebook. For you to make sure that you elevate your game. I also gave you the notes. I mean, I gave you a lot of stuff. So I'm giving you all this stuff on purpose. Now, if you're somebody who wants to strategize or, like talk to me about your coaching business or you don't know where to start or what to do and you just need ideas or at least to see how it is that I show up in the world, I have no problem with doing that with you as well. I'll put in hold on, here it is. I'll put in my link. This is for my coaching strategy call if you want to get on a strategy call with me. Okay. So I'll put it in here in Facebook as well. There we go. But I gave you guys too much. I'm done. I'm done. I love you guys so very much. I'm so glad for all of you who showed up. Thank you for being here. And we will meet, like I said, tomorrow morning at the same time. I believe it's 9 a.m. Let me just double check because I'm trying to keep all the speakers that are live at the same time. Yesterday, we had a phenomenal speaker, by the way. If you guys missed it, go to YouTube and check it out because it was freaking awesome. And let's see, tomorrow, which is the 4th. Yes. Yes, we're going to start at 9 a.m. Okay, so tomorrow, 9 a.m., meet me back here, same link. And if you register for the Women Who Lead, you're going to have that link as well. Meet me here tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. So 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central. And we are going to talk about dismantling limiting beliefs. We're going to get into a powerful Q&A. If you guys have any questions and stuff, bring them. Okay. And then I'm going to just go through a couple of things and give you guys some more stuff for you to have. Okay. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I love you more than you know. This is Nina Perez, straight talking. All right. Until tomorrow. Bye.